So, as with anything, eventually you decide it's time for a change. Time to upgrade, take the next step in life. And in the camera world, that could be moving to a larger sensor, larger needs or production size, or simply a larger budget. The majority of my work in the past has been shot using the Panasonic GH cameras, GH5, GH5S, which are excellent in their own right. I eventually moved to the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, which was a real game changer using B-RAW, but again, using the smaller sensors. Recently, I've moved to Super 35 and full frame cameras. Bigger sensors means bigger lenses, and after reviewing the early Meike Macro Four Thirds Cine lenses, their newer full frame lineup really got me feeling quite excited. Meike are producing the T2.1 50mm Cine lenses designed to cover full frame sensors, which also seems to be designed to be more workable and robust for production needs. So initially, the main difference that you'd notice is the build of the lens. It's clearly a larger body for larger sensors. It's a full metal housing, has a really good weight to it, just over a kilogram, with it kind of tipping more towards the heavier side of lenses. Meike have actually included a lens mount, which is actually really handy and something that I would definitely recommend using. Really, any lens that's pushing a kilogram or more, you're really putting a lot of strain on your camera mount, so never a bad thing to use an adapter to give it some support. And similar to the other lineups that Meike offer, the lens control, focus, iris, which is fully declipped, are both really smooth. The lenses also feature a really usable filter size of 82mm. This means that you don't always have to rely on matte boxes to use ND filters or diffusers. The focusing has a 330-degree rotation, so plenty of room for fine adjustments. The focus works really well with the integrated gearing, especially if you're using a follow focus system. So how about some real life experience? Well, recently I worked on a project shot on location in the UK over a day and a half. We had previs the location, had storyboards, so I really planned the shoot well in advance, which makes any shoot 10 times easier than just trying to wing it on the day. The majority of this piece was shot using the Meike 50mm. Colour rendition of the glass and sharpness really helped to fit the aesthetic perfectly. Racking focus on the day was extremely precise, had no issues shooting in different scenes. Really the whole usability and the size of the lens made shooting actually really enjoyable. I had no issues with flaring or artifacts in the lens, although I do use natural light mainly for most of my projects, as that's the look that I prefer. So to really give a good comparison of the lens to something that most people use or have used in the past, I picked out a really high quality photo lens. The Zeiss ZF lenses are really, in their own right, incredible pieces of glass. Zeiss does have a long-standing reputation of making incredible lenses, from the photography side or over to the cinematography. Their glass is world-renowned as some of the best. And when you look at side by side at the Meike and the Zeiss, the subtle sharpness, color rendition, and overall feel of the image is really similar. The Meike is slightly cooler than the Zeiss, but I mean, really, it's only a subtle difference, and in post, it's something that can be adjusted anyway. When it came to lighting tests, both lenses show quite a softness to light, especially when you look at more of a harsher direct light. And although the Zeiss definitely has a closer focus, there's definitely much less breathing in the lens when you look at the Meike. So this is really quite an extreme example of the type of flaring you may come across with the lens. The Zeiss is, I'd say, much more controlled. You have a series of blue, mainly blue artifacts, not really that standoutish when you compare it to the Meike. This again is an extreme example. Using a bright torch directly into the lens, you can be left with a really strong rainbow effect flare, which artistically in some cases could be a bonus, but with my experience shooting with the lens, I've had no issues with controlling flares, even without a matte box. So the bokeh examples kind of speak for themselves. The Meike is built with 11 blades. You'll generally find that bokeh is much rounder, much more pleasing compared to the Zeiss A photography lens, which has less aperture blades, causing the bokeh to be really a bit more jaggedy. You can really count the blades in the bokeh rather than have a smooth circle. Building a set of uniform lenses for your needs with a consistent and reliable image from each is really important for any project. The Meike full-frame lenses, in my opinion, are a great choice to obtain this, whilst also future-proofing you. If you decide to change your setup by moving to a larger format or even different mount, with their current lineup covering up to full-frame sensor sizes, and also with a new offer of dedicated mount converters, you're really setting yourself up for the future. So, what next? Meike is currently halfway into their full-frame launch schedule, with the 24mm releasing very soon. Focal ranges between 16 and 135 have been announced, with multiple mount options available. So that's it. What are your thoughts on the lens? If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Otherwise, thank you for watching.